Good afternoon, everyone. Is anyone is there? Can you hear me? Okay. So already we have completed the first part of this chapter. The chapter is the organisms and population, chapter 13. Okay. So today we are going to discuss about the population. This is the second part of this chapter, and actually this portion is named as population attributes. Okay. So first, before starting the topic, you should know what is the meaning of the population. So already we have discussed all those things, that the population and what is the meaning of community, what is the basic difference between the population and community. So I am repeating again, the population actually is a group of individual living in a particular geographical area. Okay, is the group of the same individual. The individual belongs to the same species. Okay, that's called the population. Okay, so it has certain characters, certain actually features or attributes. They are the birth rate, death rate, sex ratio, and the population density. Okay, next one is the population at any given time is composed of individual of different age group, like the pre-reproductive stage, reproductive stage, and the post-reproductive stage. Okay, before starting all those things, you should know what is the meaning of birth rate. Birth rate means the number of individuals birth by time. Okay, and death rate means the number of individuals death by time. Clear? So within the time, within the unit of time, how many persons become dead or how many persons become born. So that's called the birth rate and the death rate. And the sex ratio means, what is the meaning of the sex ratio? That the number of the male by the number of the female person in a unit area. Okay, and population density means the number of individuals per unit area per time. That's called the population density. Okay, next one is the age pyramid. If the age distribution is plotted for the population, the resulting structure is called as the age pyramid. Okay, for human population, the age pyramid shows the age distribution of males and females in a combined diagram. Clear? Next one is the shape of pyramid reflects the growth status of the population. That's the expanding, a stable population, or the declining population. Clear? Next one is the population growth. The size of population keeps changes with the time, because this is not the constant thing, because it has actually, the population has two main features, that the birth rate and death rate. So through the birth and death rate, the population always keeps change. Okay, and the depending on the factors like the food availability, weather, predator pressure, and the competition. Okay, and the density of a population in a given habitat during the given period changes due to four basic things, that the natality, mortality, immigration, and the emigration. Natality means the birth rate, mortality means the death rate, immigration means the inward movement, and emigration means the outward movement. Clear? This immigration and emigration is the part of the migration. This immigration and emigration is the part of the migration. Clear? The natality and immigration contributes to increase in the size and density of population. Okay, and mortality and immigration contributes to a decrease in population. Why? Because natality means the birth rate and immigration means the inward movement of the organisms. So that's why through the natality and immigration, it contributes to increase the size and density of a population. And mortality means the death rate, and emigration means the outward movement of the organism. So that's why through these two things, through the mortality and emigration, the population size and density become decreased. Okay, and this is the growth of population equation, that the nt equals to n0 plus b plus I minus d plus e. Please note it down, all of you. This equation is very much important for your board exam. Clear? So what is the meaning of this equation? That the nt states that the population density at time, n for the density and t for the time. N0 is population in the beginning. N0 means the population in the beginning. B equals to birth rate, I equals to emigration, D equals to death rate, and E equals to emigration. Okay, so what is the actually measurement of the population density? How you can measure the population density per time? That the N0, it means the beginning of population, plus birth rate plus emigration minus death rate plus emigration. This is the actual population size plus the actually present population size plus the beginning population size equals to the population density at time. So this is the basic formula or equation of the population growth. Okay. Next one is the population growth models. So there are two models of population growth. First one is the exponential growth model, that the J-shaped growth, and next one is the sigmoid growth model or S-shaped growth curve. Okay, so the exponential growth model, when the resource availability is unlimited in the habitat, the population grows in exponential or geometric fashion. So this is the graph. So the equation of this J-shaped growth curve is dn by dt. Dn by dt means the number of individual per time. Okay, dn by dt means the number of individual per time equals to b minus d into n. Okay, b minus d means the birth and d means the death. So then the equation is the dn by dt equals to rn. So if assume that the b minus d equals to r, so dn by dt equals to rn. Clear? So when a population shows the exponential growth, the curve plot with n in relation to time assume the J-shaped. Look, this is the J-shaped. Clear? This is the J-shaped growth curve. Okay. And the next one is the S-shaped or logistic growth model or sigmoid growth model. What is this? That the when the no population can continue to grow exponentially. Why? Because resources are always limited. The resource availability become limiting at a certain point of time. It's described as the equation dn by dt equals to rn into k minus n by k. So what is the meaning of the k? K means the carrying capacity. K means the carrying capacity. Okay, and R for the B minus D, birth rate minus death rate. It means the intrinsic rate of the natural increase. Okay, so already we got the R from the J-shaped growth curve. So this is the equation of the S-shaped growth curve, that dn by dt equals to rn into k minus n by k, and this is the picture or this is the graph of the S-shaped. Look, this is the S-shaped growth curve. Clear? And what is the meaning of the carrying capacity? The maximum number of individual occupies in a area in a time. Okay, in a unit time. So that's called the carrying capacity. When the population goes above the carrying capacity, that time population will be crashed. Okay, so this is why, because the natural resource availability is always the limited. It's never will be the unlimited. Clear? So this is the basic things of the exponential growth curve and the S-shaped growth curve. Next one is the life history variations. Evolution of population aims at improving the reproductive fitness to the maximum in their habitats. Clear? Most birds and mammals breed many times during their lifetime. So according to ecologists, the life history traits of an organism have evolved in relation to the constraints imposed by the biotic and abiotic factors in their habitat. Okay. Next one is the population interactions. Next one is the population interaction. When different organisms are there in a unit area or in a specific area, that time, so organisms interaction will be the obvious things. Okay, so there are two kinds of interactions are there among the organisms. First one is the interspecific interaction and second one is the intraspecific interaction. Okay, so it is the interaction of population of two different species and the Intraspecific means it's the interaction of individual at the same species. Okay, so different kinds of interactions are there, different, and they have different names. That the first one is the predation, second one is the competition, third one is the parasitism, fourth one commensalism, fifth one amensalism, and sixth one is the mutualism. Okay, so what happened in the predation between two species? When two species interact through the predation process, then what happened? So one species will be benefited and the another one will be harmed. What is the meaning of the predation? What is the meaning of the predation? So predation is the one kinds of interaction through which one species will be benefited. Okay, who will become the predator? They will be benefited, and who will become the prey? So they will be harmed. Okay, so species A will be benefited and species B will be harmed, and vice versa. Clear? Competition. This positive sign means the benefited and negative sign means the harmed. Okay. Next one is the competition. So in the competition, in this competitive interaction, both species will be harmed. No one will be the benefited. Clear? Okay. Next one is the parasitism. Parasitism is similar to the predation. Okay. So the one species will be benefited and the next one or next species will be harmed. Next one is the commensalism. Here one species will be benefited but other ones will neither will be harmed nor benefited. Clear? No changes will be there. Amensalism is one species will be harmed but the another species neither will be harmed nor benefited. And last one is the mutualism. Here both species will be benefited. The mutualistic relationship. Okay, here both species will be benefited. So this is the different kinds of interaction, and this chart is very important for your exam. This chart is very important for your exam. Clear? Next one is the description of the predation. It is an interspecific interaction in which predator kills and consumes prey. Therefore, one species is benefited and other is harmed. Okay, how you can identify that this one is predator and that one is the prey? That the predator always will be the strong animal and the prey always will be the weak animal. Clear? Next one is the predation is a way to transfer the energy from lower trophic levels to higher trophic levels. So I am repeating again, the predation, these kinds of interaction is a way to transfer the energy from lower trophic levels to the higher trophic levels. Okay, and the next one is the predator keep the prey population under control. Otherwise, prey reach very high population density and cause the imbalance in the ecosystem. So this is the basic things of the predation. So everything is required to maintain the ecological balance. Okay, everything, every interaction is important to maintain the ecological balance. Clear? So the predator keep the prey population under control. Otherwise, prey reach very high population density and cause the imbalance in the ecosystem. So this is the basic things of the predation. Example, sometimes predators are used as biological control for pests. Example, the ladybird are useful to control aphids and dragonflies for mosquitoes. The ladybird are useful to control aphids and dragonflies for mosquito population. To control the mosquito population, we can use these kinds of the predator like the aphids and dragonflies. Okay. Next one, prey species have evolved various defense mechanisms to reduce the impact of the predation. Example, certain insect species and frogs have camouflage. That's called the cryptic coloration. Why this is important? Because to survive the environment, you have to adapt some defense mechanism. Okay, the organism has to adapt some defense mechanism. This is the struggle for existence actually. This is the struggle for existence. If you want to exist in the environment, then you have to adapt some survival mechanism. So this is one kind of the survival mechanism for the prey species. That is the camouflage. Camouflage means the script, this is one kind of the coloration. Okay, just look at the structure. So the predator species cannot identify that which one is the species and which one is the another one. This is actually the log of tree, and this is the frog. This is the frog, and this is the log of tree. Okay, but you cannot identify that which one is the log of tree and which one is the species. Okay, so this is the process of the cryptic coloration. This is the actual thing of the cryptic coloration. Clear? Next example is the plants have developed certain morphological and chemical defense mechanism against the herbivores, like the thorns in bougainvillea and spines in acacia. I think all of you know all those things. Next one is the competition. This is the last topic for today. That what is the meaning of the competition? That actually this is one kind of interaction among the individuals of same species or between individuals of different species. Okay, this is the intraspecific and interspecific. Intraspecific means the interaction between the same species, and interspecific means the interaction between the different species. Okay, so competition between the individuals of same species is for same resource that are limited. So why competition is needed, or why competition is important interaction among the organism? For their survivability, this interaction is important because the resources are the limited, because the resource in our environments are limited. So that's why competition is required. In some case, resources need to be limiting for competition to occur. The feeding efficiency of one species might be reduced due to the interfering of the other species. Okay, I'm repeating again. In some cases, resources need not be limiting for competition to occur. The feeding efficiency of one species might be reduced due to the interfering of the other species. Okay. Example, that the Abingdon tortoise in Galapagos Island became extinct within a decade after goats were introduced into the island. Okay, it was due to the fact that the goats had greater browsing efficiency than the tortoise. So this is the basic things of the competition. Next one is the unrelated species also compete for the same resources. This is one kind of the interspecific competition. This is one kind of the interspecific competition. Okay, that the unrelated species also compete for the same resources, like the flamingo and fish compete for the zooplankton. Birds and fish compete for the zooplankton. Clear? Okay. Next point is the competitive release. Next point is the competitive release. What is the meaning of this? That a species whose distribution is restricted to a small geographical area because of the presence of a competitively superior species is called the competitive release. So I am repeating again, a species whose distribution is restricted, is confined to a small geographical area because of the presence of a competitively superior species is called the competitive release. This species is found to expand its distributional range dramatically when the competing species is experimentally removed. So when we cannot fight, when we are not able to fight against the another species, so that time our distribution is restricted to a small geographical area. But when our competitor, when the predator is experimentally removed, so that time what happened? The species, those kinds of species is found to expand its distributional range dramatically. So this is the basic things of the competitive release. Next one is the Gauss's competitive exclusion principle. This is important for your exam. This Gauss's competitive exclusion principle is important for your exam. So please go through this properly. That what actually it states that this principle states that the two closely related species competing for the same resources cannot exist together, and the competitively inferior will be eliminated by superior. Actually, this is the you can say that this is one kind of derivation of the Darwin's principle or Darwin's theory, that the struggle for existence and survival of the fittest. Okay, who will be fit, they can survive. Who will not be fit, they cannot survive in the environment. So it states that the two closely related species competing for the same resources, okay, cannot exist together, and the competitively inferior will be eliminated by the superior. Next one is the resource partitioning. It's the mechanism meant for coexistence of species to face the competition. According to this, if two species compete for the same resource, they could avoid competition by choosing different times for feeding or for different foraging patterns. Okay, so there you will see three different kinds of theory, three different kinds of the aspects. The first one is the competitive release, second one is the competitive exclusion principle, and third one is the resource partitioning. Okay, so through the competitive release you can see that the whose distribution is restricted to a small geographical area because of the comparatively superior species. So that kinds of species is found expands its distributional range when the competing species is experimentally removed. Okay, and through the comparative exclusion principle you can see that the two close related species never exist together. Why? Because the competitively inferior will be always eliminated by the superior. And the last one is the resource partitioning, that it's the mechanism, actually this is a mutualistic interaction. Through the resource partitioning the species got interacted through the mutualism. What is the meaning of this? That according to this theory, if two species compete for the same resources, they could avoid competition by choosing different times for feeding or different foraging patterns. So this is the basic things of the different kinds of interaction or different aspects of interaction. This is the realistic example of the different kinds of interaction which is present among the organism in our environment. Clear? Okay. Example is the MacArthur showed that scientists, he was scientist, that the five closely related species of rabblers living on the same tree were able to coexist and avoid competition by having behavioral differences in their foraging or hunting activities. Clear? So this is the true example or real example of the resource partitioning. What is the meaning of actual resource partitioning? That we can divide our resource and coexist together. Okay, we'll divide our resource and coexist together. Okay, next one is the parasitism. Tomorrow I will discuss about the parasitism. So till now this is it. And if you have any queries you can ask me. Okay, please go through this properly because all those things are very easy but quite important topics for your board exam. So that's why just go through it properly. Okay, okay, thank you.